Hello and welcome to round one of the 2017.2 South African simM2 series, our first race of the new 2017.2 season. And we've got 46 competitors this evening. The race we'll be watching this evening is the series split, the top split. Then we have the second split, the challenge split, where 24 other drivers are taking part. And anyway, we are watching the top 21 drivers who have qualified throughout the hot lap qualifying session that took place this weekend. And I think we're looking forward to a very exciting race. I'm joined by my good friend and co-commentator Gert. James, welcome to the stream, sir.
Why, thank you, Mr. Jason. It's always fun being here. It's extremely surprising to see so many guys right on par with regards to lap time so early on in the season, considering that it's a new car being dumped on their hands. It's a track that we don't really drive all that often, apart from the odd sanctioned event, and then over the course of a weekend you see 21 drivers stuffed within 1.5 seconds of each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw in the final practice just 1 second separating the top 15 drivers. So it's absolutely everything to play for.
That's
and we're either going to have some fantastic racing or a massive pileup. I'm hoping for the first thing I said there, but we'll see how we go.
No one wants to see a pileup this early on.
Absolutely.
Lots of new talent on show, of course. Lots of the regulars from the previous seasons not taking part in season 2 2017. But that doesn't mean that the racing is not going to be hot. I mean, there's so many new faces here that's shown already that they can actually trade paint with the best of them out there. Guys like Christopher Langeveld, Pieter Geldenhuys, Wesley Farrant, all new faces. Guys that's basically in their second season now here at SimRace South Africa, second full season, like Nick Hodgson and Chase Gunther. These guys have shown that they've got what it takes to win on any given day.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mentioned the drivers that are not taking part this season. I'm sure we will expect them back for the new year, and perhaps we could even have a third split of racing, which I'm sure will happen. We look forward to that. And yeah, besides the old hands taking part, we've got some new faces. The fastest of which is Christopher Langeveld. Currently pops up into 4th position. He was actually 3rd quickest throughout the weekend. And I think we're looking forward to seeing how he gets on in a sort of a race environment. Highly competitive race this will be. And just looking down the names, Gustav Jacobs too, someone new, starting from 7th position. And he just pops up. No, he goes down to 8th position. Brett Lindsay up into 7th with a good lap time there. Another very quick guy is Wayne Wortley, currently in 9th position. And then again another guy, Wesley Farrant, in 10th. So Chase Gunther down 11th. Expect him to come up a bit as the session goes on. Just over 8 minutes remaining of this qualifying session before we start the 60-minute race, which includes 1 mandatory pit stop, and that will bring an element of strategy into this.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I mean, last time I took part in a very, very competitive race with these BMWs, I remember a very distinct race between myself and you at Paul Ricard.
Yes.
In this very car.
Absolutely, one of the best sim races that I've ever had the privilege to take part in.
It was utterly amazing. I mean, we were like, what, 1st and 2nd, with the rest of the field coming in about half a minute after us, and that wasn't even an hour race. It was like a 20 or 30-minute race, and yet we were gunning each other all the way.
Yeah, I think we changed 20 positions in about 5 laps. Amazing.
Yes. No, listen, these cars make for brilliant racing. Me remembering how the car used to be, I would love to see how this car manages to get through an hour's racing with a mandatory pit stop chucked in there somewhere. and what tires these guys will be taking out, because I've seen some of these guys coming out in qualifying with hard tires on, whereas other guys come out with mediums. It was quite strange.
Yeah, I actually had a chat with a certain Bashir Judd Watts, and he was saying that the hard tire feels is better. And it'll be interesting to see what the rest of the drivers do. Expect Marcus Stay and his Ghostworks teammate to do the same. And currently those two guys are first and second, locking out the front row so far, but we've still got 7 minutes remaining. Nick Hodgson's popped up into third, so that's fantastic. But yeah, as we were saying about the car, I think it's a case of it being easy to drive, but sort of tricky to master. And I think this is a good car to have in a qualifying race. Don't forget that these drivers are vying for a slot on, or grid slot on the South African simGD Series grid, where in this for race round 1 the top 15 go through. From round 2 it'll only be the top 12, but for this race the top 15 will go through the top SS simGD split. So they're definitely racing for something this evening. And it'll be exciting to see how everybody does that.
What also makes these cars so interesting for newbies to drive in a series like this is it will definitely introduce them to the intricacies of setup work. The car naturally is oversteery under acceleration, understeery going into a corner, and we all know that in order to get the best out of a lap, you have to manage your apexes, your turn-in, your acceleration points, and you are absolutely going to be required to tune the car in such a way that you can manage your oversteery and your understeery bits and know when you want the car to do what in order to get those fantastic lap times. The car's not necessarily going to dive into a tree with you or run headlong over an apex because you did something wrong with the setup. It's just millimeters that's going to separate you from qualifying in a podium position versus languishing in the bottom half of the field.
And Chris Heineck has just put in a fantastic lap. That's up into the top 5 with a 35.281. I think that matches his best time of during the weekend as well. And Leandro Sparks too moves up to 4th position. A great drive there. Leandro is competing together with his father today. Stefan Sparks is a bit further down in 19th position at the moment. Yeah, those two drivers forming part of Sparks Racing, another new team that's entered this season.
Very happy for Stephen Sparks, obviously new to sim racing as well, and practicing very hard with his son, and just reward for a weekend's work to find himself in the top split for this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Stephen Sparks sort of improving almost every week at Sim Race South Africa. I think he's been racing only for the last 3 weeks or so with us. It's great to see him in a top split in a highly competitive race. We look forward to seeing how he gets on. But a question in the YouTube chat for you, Gert. Certain Zaire S is asking why you're not racing.
Zaire,
why you're not racing?
A combination of fatigue and lots of other things on my plate at the moment, and obviously spending a lot of our time focusing on some of our international races. So I will be back for the local races come 2018. But for the time being, I'm just going to enjoy sitting in the commentary booth and enjoying some racing and seeing some of our new talent do extremely well.
We're going to have a look at Chris Langevaart doing his his flying lap. Currently just 10th, almost 100th, 10th down in his best delta time so far. Runs a bit wide. The last time there, unfortunately. His delta time dropping there. Chris Heineke again, almost 3/10 up on his best delta time. Currently in 6th position. If he can get that right, he will be in second position if he can maintain that momentum. So Chris Heineck already showing a lot of potential during this qualifying session.
Class of Bashir Jadwat showing that in a car like this, where the field is literally spread by about 2 seconds, not even a second and a half, then he goes and puts a good half a second between himself and second place. That is utterly insane. Now we have between second place and 17th place. No, not even. Between second place and 19th place, we have less than a second.
That
what
is incredible.
on earth is happening here?
Yeah. Chris Heineck was up by almost 4 tenths, and if he had kept that up, he would have been on the front row of the grid with Bashir Jadwat. So he'll be kicking himself for that mistake. But Heineck seems to be on fire here. And we see Chris Langerveld up into second position. Wow. The man on debut. He is just, 3 tenths down on Bashir Jadwat, but apparently sharing the front row. Yeah.
Knowing Chris Heineck, the Afrikaans expletives would have been flying at that moment. Knowing what he lost.
And so yeah, so offering some tips in the YouTube chat there. It's shouting slow in, fast out.
That's it.
And obviously commenting on Chris Heineck's last mistake there.
Now this car is all about slow in, fast out. It's again managing that oversteer and understeer, making sure that you go in a little bit slower, and then making use of that oversteer on acceleration.
We just saw Brent Lindsay-Ray move up into 9th position, bettering his best time by almost 2 tenths of a second. And up on his delta time again by 2 tenths. Can Lindsay-Ray keep this up?
Oh, he
wide
goes
again. Yo, doing a bit of rallycross there, Brent. Don't need to take a joker lap, you know.
It's mowing the marijuana.
Yes, Amrish, this is the first, the top split. This is the series split, yeah. Okay, and we're gonna be, and the time has run out. And is anybody on a good lap? Let's just have a look and go through the cars. Oh, we've got somebody who's moved up. Marcus Dane back into second position, just pipping Chris Langerveld by not very much at all. 7/100ths of a second.
He didn't like that. He didn't like that.
We're just going to cycle through. I think everyone's in the pit lane. No. There's Gunther is on a quick lap, I think, is he? Let's see where he ends up. Doesn't improve. That's everybody.
Hey, and Nick out qualifying his teammate.
Yeah.
Well done, Nick.
Yeah, I must remember now to send my car back to the grid, not like the last race that I commentated on.
Oh, yes.
That you know all about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Adding a couple of chicanes there in the main straight for you guys.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I had a choice of going to the outside or heading on the inside and squeezing in between a car on the straight and a wall on my right hand side, which I did with the plum, I must say. Obviously, yeah, I probably shouldn't continue with that sentence. Some things should not be said or repeated. Not in a public forum like this. Yeah, it was a hairy moment. Fantastic to see all the custom liveries, though. People taking the this competition very seriously. Always a good thing.
Yeah, we love to try and get local business logos onto the cars, and yeah, we had some fantastic liveries come through.
Cars looking great. loving the car themselves. I mean, it's a fantastic looking car, fantastic sounding car, brilliant driving car. Really
A lot of the
looking forward to the
guys
series.
just, come and told me, "Yo, I'm actually thinking about buying one since I've been driving this on the simulator." So BMW, you know where to send your money if you sell any cars from my customers. So yeah,
Payouts always welcome.
we're down to about 30 seconds before the start of the formation lap.
You know what you do now? You arrange a series with the Fiat. You contact Fiat in South Africa and you say, listen, you know where to send the commission to once our series comes to a close. I mean, I did see Nick review one of those Fiat A-Baths at some point, if I remember correctly.
Okay, we're going to leave the grid.
Left it. There we go.
Same thing.
Controls are locked for 20 seconds, like the chop that I am.
Bashir Watts backing up the field on this formation lap. Just trying to warm his tires, moving side to side. That does work somewhat in Assetto Corsa. And the rest of the field doing the same. Here we'll lead the field to the final corner of the track, where he will then speed up to race pace. We'll start racing from lap 2. Bettis in the Facebook live chat, yeah, we do enable ABS and traction control. The guys can use them if they want to, but no stability control. But we're about 2 corners away from the start of this race. The Gert will be looking for a good start now. He's got a very eager Marcus stand behind him. Then Chris Langevaart in 3rd position. And it's go here at Brands Hatch. He's got a good drive. He's pulled the gap to teammate Marcus Stan. And the field spreading out pretty quickly at the moment. We've got Leandre Sparks in 5th position, challenging Nick Hodgson in the Sparks BMW. It's yeah, very well behaved start here so far. We've got a attempted move here by Nick Hodgson up the inside, doesn't make it work. And here comes who's that? That is Leandre Sparks. Doesn't quite pull it off, unfortunately, for him.
The trick here is if you can just stay close to a car and not get disrupted too much by the lack of downforce behind a car going into this straight, you can actually shot past them on this specific straight. So there's no real need for aerobics prior to the straight. Just play your cards right and put a move together down here.
Chris Heineke looking dangerous, but as I say that, he falls off the track. And he was having a go at Gustav Jacobs there for 6th position. Running wide again, so perhaps some nerves coming to play for Chris Heineke. Got Chase Gunter behind him, that could be why. Certainly will get my pulse racing.
Fantastic looking car there with HRT.
Beautifully. Chris Heineke pulls off some fantastic livery designs. His Porsche in the Sim GT series last season, I think, was my favorite, the red and black livery.
That car looking
Gert, are you with us?
I'm here.
Okay, sorry, you just dropped out there. Yeah, Nick Hodgson in 4th position. Under pressure from Leandro Sparks still. Got Gustav Jacobs coming under severe pressure here by Chris Heineke. So we've got side by side actually Sparks up the inside of that. Nick Hodgson there, these two are still fighting.
Oh! Big move attempted.
Oh, good action in the background. He's off. Someone's pirouetting in the background there. Now, I think that is Gustav Jacobs, in fact. Fortunate for the man on debut. He falls back. Chris Brown in 12th position. And Smith behind him in 13th.
One of the reasons this competition is capturing my imagination so greatly right now is because of the sheer amount of new faces, and then like the smattering of old faces like Chris Brown being back with the force again. Beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, it's great to have Chris Brown back in action. We haven't seen him for, I don't know, about a year or so.
He's been around for the odd race last season.
Yeah,
but
true.
just really good to see him back for a start of a season. Putting together some sort of a challenge. Beautiful.
We are now on board with Chris Langeveld, ready taking it to the old guard here at simRace South Africa. Langeveld, of course, on debut, and he's taking it to Marcus Steyn. Yeah, this battle progresses throughout the race. This will be one to watch, I'm sure.
Bashir will be licking his lips, because with that little battle behind him, he can just pull out a nice little lead in front. He'll be hoping that battle keeps going for at least another 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, and Sparks,
just so he can get some breathing room going.
Sparks and Hodgson are continuing their fantastic battle as well for 4th position. And we've got Chris Heineke catching up all the time. Heineke showing a lot of pace here. We have a little look here from Lindsay Ray on Chase Quinter. So another good battle to watch. Lindsay Ray looking very strong here at Brands Hatch. He's got teammate Wesley Front just behind him in the other Eco Racing BMW. We actually got 4 Eco Racing cars in, is it this race? I think so. These 2 anyway. Could be the other 2, could be another split. I'm not quite sure right now. Yes, there's another one behind us there.
Oh my word!
They make contact!
No! That is so unfortunate.
Yeah.
Carrying too much speed into a corner like that, too wide, it's inevitable that you're going to make contact.
Judd Watts now opened up his lead to just over 2.5 seconds. Of course, this battle, as we said before, now playing into Judd Watts' hands. He's able just to pull away and let these two fight it out between themselves.
Absolutely.
Leandro Sparks suddenly is put on the pace and is catching them pretty rapidly in 4th position, just a second behind the battle for second.
A lot of newbies to sim racing wouldn't necessarily realize how huge a battle like this can be for a front runner. time-wise to extend his lead. It's because the guy in front at the battle obviously don't want the guy behind them to drive into the back of him. So you tend to be a little bit more circumspect going into a corner. You tend to give a little bit more or a little bit less room on the inside of a corner. And the guy at the back also don't want to run into the car in front of him, so he tends to brake a little bit earlier. And inevitably they will lose between 0.2 and 0.6 of a second per lap, every lap, for as long as the battle ensues. So if this battle carries on for much longer, it's going to be tickets. Bashir's going to be up the road and gone.
Order with newcomer Van der Grift currently in 10th position, showing great pace. Done a couple of open races with us, but decided to go on to the main Pro Series, or the Pro Series qualifiers at least, that this race makes up. Currently fighting it out with Wesley Ferrant.
So many tight splits between these cars. 0.6, 0.7, 0.3, 0.2, 0.5, 0.5, 0.1. What on earth are we witnessing here?
That is something beautiful, Gert. Sorry, I had to.
It's stunning.
Fortunately, Gustav Jacobs has left the server, unfortunately. Oh, we've got someone taking off. So that's ping issues for... Who is that? I don't want to follow him too much on the stream, but yeah, it's taken off. Unfortunately disconnected, I think. The mega battle happening here between Wayne Wortley and Tim Smith. Oh, gonna start with who's coming through the middle there.
Oh,
that is
word.
Chris Brown. He's back with a vengeance. I'll take it. Thanks very much,
Brown
guys.
is back.
Watching the whippersnappers around him, is that I'll just go straight through the middle. Thanks, guys.
The whippersnappers.
Straight back into top 10. These guys are probably older than what I am, but anyway. So. And Wortley wants to get back at Brown as much as he can, but he's got Peter Geldernes only in 12th position. Geldernes slightly out of position. He's actually he was a bit quicker than where he is now. Doing somewhat of a recovery drive at the moment.
Yeah,
it's all kicking
Boyd
off, yeah.
Bryson and Chris Brown, I'm not sure who's the Sarl van der Merwe of simRace South Africa.
We should open up a poll in the forum. We can like have a vote. What's that? Sounds great.
Sounds like a plan.
Hey.
Let's figure out who's the Sarl van der Merwe of simRace South Africa.
I'll make you project
the
manager.
evergreen one.
You're the project manager for that. So, Stain is
Let's
now
get the
open up.
Facebook. Let's get the Facebook comments going, and let's get the YouTube comments going. Let's see who's got that vote.
Yeah, Marcus Stain now 3.5 seconds behind teammate Bashir Jadwat. And he's opened up the gap back to Chris Langeveld. So everything's staying put at the moment. Everybody's trying to weigh each other up before the pit stop phase starts. Expect the pit stops to happen, yeah, somewhere in the middle, I would think. Nick Hodgson in 4th position, followed by Chris Heineke, who's showing a lot of pace this evening. Very impressive drive here by Heineke. Team principal of HRT, of course, Heineke Racing Team. Chase Gunter, strong in 6th position. Another one who's driving very well is Brent Lindsay Ray. The 333 car. His teammate Wesley Ferrant behind him in 8th position. Here comes the Tim Smith train for 9th. Behind him is Chris Brown in 10th, still holding off Wayne Wortley. Comes the move here. Oh, attempted move on Mark McGee. Runs a bit wide, but he'll get a better drive onto the back straight like that. Nicely done. Nazim Edwards chasing him down.
Some great skill shown there.
Back to the Shan Lopesha that left the server, who took off like a turned his car into a spaceship and got Mark McGee off.
Oh dear,
That was close.
Oh. Kept that in control.
And Lopesha just reporting back that he had disconnect, unfortunately. His line dropped. Part of sim racing, unfortunately. Who's that off? That is Tim Smith. So the Tim Smith train has come to an end. Now become the Chris Brown train. Chris Brown moving up into 9th position.
That battle between Marcus Steyn and Chris Langeveld looking very sweet right now.
Here we are. And right on board with Chris Langeveld down the back straight.
Oh my word, you absolutely have to get that fantastic drive on this car to launch a challenge. Doing so well to stay this close to a car and maintain control of the car through these tight corners. When you drive this close to the back of a car, you have to be so smooth or you will lose it.
Bit of opposite luck there for Chris Langeveld, just correcting the car on the exit of that last corner. Lost a bit of time too, Marcus Steyn. The Steyn pulling out 3/10 on him there. See how late on the brakes Langeveld is, where Marcus Steyn opts for a bit of a, it's a bit early on the brakes and a wider line into turn 1. Steyn feeling the need to go defensive already, so I think Langeveld's got him. He's getting to Marcus Steyn. But Marcus Steyn is known to withstand a lot of pressure, not one to make mistakes.
Yeah, I think him moving off the racing line there was more a question of knowing that some drivers might get very impatient at some point and might attempt a lunge on the inside. So rather than allow something like that to happen, just show the guy that it's not going to happen on his watch.
Here comes Langeveld.
Might have lost it, yeah.
Got him. No, he just pulls out of it last second. Wow, great driving there by those two. The Steyn's having nothing of it. You're not passing there, sir. You're going to have to try again and do better than that. Of course, Bashid Watts just is bringing up the road now to a 6-second gap.
Look, the longer this race carries on, the more desperate the odd lunge might become. Expect a lot more defensive maneuvers from Marcus Steyn, even preemptive ones, just to make sure that the idea doesn't cross Christopher's mind. Marcus is going to have a very bad drive out of a corner before Christopher is going to be able to overtake him. I can put money on that.
Oh, we have had Marcus Steyn disconnect too, I think. And he's taken off.
What happened? Where's Bashir Jadwat?
Yeah, so something's happened to the front two leaders. And suddenly, Chris Langeveld finds himself not in the lead. No, Marcus Steyn is still there. So our timing just went a bit haywire there. Perhaps a bit of lag as well.
I'm sorry, I dropped the dart there.
Yeah. So Bashir Edward still leads this race. Don't be mistaken. And Marcus Steyn is in second position. Followed by Chris Langeveld, so the battle continuing. Those two cars disappearing for a couple of seconds.
I'm hoping this is not that ping-related issue we saw earlier. With cars appearing and disappearing on track right now.
We may be going through some growing pains at SimRace South Africa, so let's just see how we go. There it goes again. Let's just monitor things. We are currently running the biggest field we've ever run before, so it could be that the server is struggling at the moment. But all seems well now. But yeah, certainly a couple. Oh, there's another hiccup.
ET phone home.
But it all seems well again. Let's hope that everything hangs together. They now is enjoying a second lead ahead of Chris Langeveld. Everything seemed to have stabilized again.
Can I breathe now?
You can breathe now. If you feel like that, imagine how I feel. It's an admin's nightmare, but it seems to be being averted. Thank goodness. Also,
my
stop
thumb
breathing,
is still
so...
a little bit puckered.
Let's not go there.
Imagine the drivers seeing cars appear and disappear in front of them. Imagine how puckered their bumholes are. Christopher Langeveld was 1.1 seconds behind Marcus Steyn, now slowly but surely creeping back again, now that he can see his opponent. Field slowly starting to spread. Gap's not really all that wide. Tiny little mistakes can still see you lose at least 2 or 3 positions. Not that very many positions split by less than a second right now.
Gonna have a look down at the midfield. Seems all very tight here. I see Mark McGear doing a bit of off-roading, but he keeps it pointing in the right direction. Look at that. But he's under attack now from Yazin Ismail. He's got it. So Ismail taking advantage by that error. Oh, and Mark McGear just gives him a love tap there. Just to say, here I am, and then falls off the track.
That's why I don't like driving a black car. You can see how worn that car is now.
But Mark McGear is still looking stronger. Top 10 so far for Mark McGear. McGear actually does very well in these cars.
I remember 2 seasons ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking a couple of victories. Yeah. Obviously something about this car suits how Mark McGear drives it. A shout out to Ross Kidd in the Facebook live chat, my old friend. Great to see you watching, my man. We can see what's happening in 7th position. Lindsay Ray trying to take the fight to Chris Heineke in the battle for 6th position.
I haven't done any laps in any of these cars around this track, so I don't know how the tire wear must be. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not these guys have started with all the fuel they need for just a stop and go, or whether or not they're actually going to take some new tires on, some fuel in, spend that extra little bit of time in the pits. Pit stop should be happening between sometime from, let's say, the next 4 laps. So the next 4 laps or so, you probably might see the first 1 or 2 guys going in. Some others might push it till about lap 22, 23, then going in.
Shane Lopes in the YouTube live chat, of course, he was racing in this race. He says the hard tires can do their full race length. So, of course, yeah, each driver needs to do a mandatory pit stop, but they don't have to take tires and fuel. They can actually fuel up for the entire race and manage the tires through the race without changing them, but they must bring the cars to a complete stop in the pit lane, at least.
I remember in the beginnings of a Assetto Corsa, the damage weren't modeled all that fantastically. Now you can actually see how a car got scraped against the wall. The paint job don't look all that awesome.
Apparently the mediums can run for 34 laps. And there's about half the grip left.
The mediums?
The mediums.
That is insane. Does these cars have soft tires?
No.
You better believe I would have made soft tires work on this car. Run almost no camber. Soft tires for the win. It's a pity. Bet you would have seen a pit stop for tires then.
Of course, yeah. Actually bumped up the track temperature to try and get the hards worn down a bit more, but I stopped the temperature at about 30 degrees. I didn't want to go hotter than that. So.
Everyone just seems to be settling down a little bit now. Seems to be a bit of a battle brewing between Peter Geldenhuys, Wayne Wortley and Mike McGeer in midfield.
Can have a look.
Or you can cover them with a proverbial blanket. 3 tall.
You need to trademark that, Kate.
It's my trademark.
Mike McGeer feels the need to go defensive. Here comes Peter Geldenhuys, and he's brought Wayne Wortley with him. Oh, into the pit lane comes Mike McGeer. He's decided now is the time to pit halfway through the race.
Give himself a bit of a respite.
Wayne Wortley wants to get past Peter Geldenhuys as quickly as he can.
Marcus Steyn seems to have closed up a little bit of the gap between himself and Bashir.
He has.
So either Marcus found time on the track, or Bashir may have made a small little error somewhere.
This is the closest battle on track at the moment. So we'll keep with him for a while. And we see Chris Langeveld coming into the pit lane from 3rd position.
This is going to be so interesting.
He'll be wanting to exit the pits without anyone in front of him if he can help it. He's dropped down to 7th at the moment.
Not going to be possible, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's just so much traffic around. Everyone's so close together. I think the strategy to go here would be to go as long as possible to build the gap out to everyone else behind you, and then come in at the last possible moment. Yeah, Yassine Ismail's also in the pit lane. Wayne Wortley goes defensive. We go on board. Nazim Edwards got a good drive. Can he use it? Got the inside line, surely. Yes, he's got him. So good move there by Nazim Edwards. He's made it stick.
I'm telling you, I have seen racing from guys in various leagues in the Assetto Corsa around the world. I have seen racing in this race today that is absolutely incredible. The amount of incidents we had is so little compared to the small gaps between the cars. I haven't seen this replicated in any other Assetto Corsa league so far. Talent on display here and the racecraft on display is stunning.
Yeah, the standard of driving has been very good. I must admit. Yeah. Well, we watched Chris Langeveld. Yeah.
Even when guys have been making mistakes, they were careful not to, take too many drivers with them. Rejoining the track in a dangerous manner. It's been good to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nick finds himself in 3rd position. Seen by Chase Gunther in 4th. For the time being, Wesley Farrant up into 5th. Chris Langeveld is now in 6th position.
And he's got some clean air as well. I'm sure he's pushing as hard as he can. He's currently 3/10 on his best, down on his best delta time. But in clean air, he'll be looking to make up as much time as possible. But of course, Marcus Stein is in a bit of clean air as well. So don't expect much to change.
That clean air in front of Langeveld is actually a godsend right now, because that basically gives him time on, if he changed tires, on fresh tires, after having a bit of a break in the pits, just to, maybe catch that extra 0.5 of a second, maybe a second, and put the pressure on Marcus Stein once Marcus comes out of the pits.
Yeah, so on that last lap, Marcus Stein did a 35.6. It's going to look at what Langeveld can come up with. About to cross the line now.
This might still be one of his pit laps.
36.1, so still 6/10 down on Stein.
Okay.
So basically Marcus Stein is extending that gap to Langeveld at the moment anyway. Wesley Farrant is in the pits. So is Nazim Edwards. Judd Watt is coming up to some traffic. Who's that in front of him? That is Stefan Sparks. And Judd Watt will be looking to clear Sparks as quickly as he can. Of course, this situation could lead to Judd Watt losing a bit of time, of course. Or unless Sparks decides to cut into the pit lane. Stain's last lap was a 35.4. Langevaart is a 35.9. So Langevaart's losing ground to Stein. So clearly the BMW M235i likes to wear its tires down, produce more pace.
I'm wondering if the disparity in lap times is not something to do with the fuel loads.
Could well be.
Because they were up each other's exhaust pipes for a very, very long time, and I don't really see how, once they split from each other, you know, how you can equate to half a second a lap, them not being on each other like that. So I think something changed after Langeveld's pit stop, or during his pit stop.
It could well be that Marcus Stein has started this race for enough fuel to finish the race with. So, and perhaps Langevaart was running light. And
yes.
That's why he could sort of hang around Stein, or very close to him.
Exactly.
And now you're seeing the fuel load going down on Stein's car now, and he's able to extend that gap.
Which means,
perhaps Stein was looking after the tires as well, because he knew he was going to do the full race stint with them.
Exactly. So, it doesn't look as if Chris Langeveld changed tires. It does look as if he was driving with less fuel, possibly. We can maybe confirm it a little bit later. But Marcus Stein and Bashir Jadwa seems to have started on the exact same strategy. Take all the fuel you need for race duration, take the tires you need for race duration, and at some point just pick a time where you quickly dart into the pits and bring the car to a stop, and then get the heck out of Dodge and complete the race.
Watching Nick Hodgson currently in third position. He's got teammate Chase Gunter behind him in fourth, just 2 seconds behind him. See when they conduct their pit stops. But for now, they're carrying on.
Chris Heineck is still finding himself in a very good sixth position. Chris Brown now back to 10th. I don't know if that's got to do with the pit stop.
I'm not quite sure if he's done his pit stop yet.
Well, there you go, Chris Brown back in 9th. Chris Langeveld back in 4th. Things starting to normalize now, the more people go into the pits.
Matthew Boy in the Synergy Racing car in 15th position, looking to take it to Mark McGear for 14th position. Have a good run on him now. Wayne Watley in pit lane.
Matthew Boy is one of those guys you just absolutely love having in your team. He's one of the most chilled guys you can imagine. Loves his racing. Very competitive bloke.
And I'm sure he'll prove an asset to the Synergy Racing team.
No doubt.
Team principal is Quinton Harhoff, who's bagged himself a solid driver in Matthew Boy.
Very hard competitor.
I'm sure he'll be imparting his knowledge back to the rest of the new team at simRace South Africa. Synergy Racing last compete, no, not new team, yeah, they competed about 2 years ago, but back with a vengeance, with 4 drivers. Synergy Racing 1 and 2, because you can only have 2 drivers per team. So they split their team in 2. Gert now already maintaining his domination of the hot lap qualifying sessions throughout this last weekend. Continues his reign over this round one of Brands Hatch with a 6-second lead over teammate Marcus Steyn with just 11 laps remaining.
Something must have happened to chase Gunther. He's currently down in 17th position.
Yeah.
Almost a whole lap behind Steven Sparks.
So he's dropped right back. Might be a delay during his pit stop, but something's gone wrong there for Chase Gunther and Dodge and Gert Racing.
Can we quickly go down to his car?
Quickly.
Let's see if he's actually driving.
Yes, he is. But you're down in 18th position for some reason.
Maybe he needed to conduct a pit stop, repair some damage.
Could be.
He won't be a happy camper right now. And there he's gone again.
Yeah, he's gone. So Chase Gunther having line problems, it seems. He's definitely fallen off the timing sheets, unfortunately, for Chase. Gert, what's in the pit lane? Here he comes. Marcus Steyn is going to lead for a while. He's just brings the car to a stop and off he goes.
That was a bit of a squirt.
Totally legal as long as you bring the all four tires to a stop. That is all you need to do to call it a pit stop. And I'm sure that's an eye-opening experience to anyone who will watch this later going, oh, that's how he's done it. And you'll probably find everybody else will do that for the rest of the season.
Still amazing to see some gaps out there so tiny between the cars, you know, so small. After all this time. I mean, how on earth do you drive for 27 laps and then the gap between you and another car is still less than a second?
Yeah. Oh, that's consistency for you. Yeah, the standard of driving has been very, very, very good. I mean, we've seen quite a good racing in the open racing, and obviously that's funneling through now to the Pro Series qualifiers, and it's very exciting to watch. And I'm very happy with how things have gone. You see Marcus Steyn just diving to the pit lane. That should give the lead back to Marcus Steyn. He should also do just a stop and go, I would assume. This Langeveld is 17 seconds behind him. Oh, he's actually going to stop. No, he kept on going. Right. So where's Langeveld? Quite a way back, I think. Yeah, there he comes. The Langeveld's fallen back a good, yeah, what, 12 seconds on Marcus Steyn. The Ghost works, the strategy has worked out for them.
That's 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds. What on earth is happening with that timing?
Yeah, it is a bit wobbly, isn't it?
Some of these timing changes is bordering on teleporting.
Yeah.
Nick Hodgson finding himself 2 seconds behind Bashir Jadwat. But I venture a guess saying that Nick hasn't stopped yet.
Yeah, I would think so, huh?
Factor in a pit stop for Nick. He might pop down just underneath Chris Langeveld. Marcus Steyn will be about 8 seconds behind Bashir Jadwat. Yep. There's definitely a pit stop pending there for Nick.
Leandro Sparks, Bashir Jadwat's put a lap on Leandro Sparks, but Sparks is hanging with him and Jadwat's not able to pull away.
Why is Bashir Jadwat showing down in 15th on my list?
The same for me. I think we're experiencing some timing issues here. Very fun when Jadwat crosses the line again, it will correct itself.
Let's hope so.
Otherwise there'll be a lot of race reviewing going on for me.
Oh dear.
37 laps and 20 drivers. Very exciting. So Bashir Jadwat's gone back to the top.
There you go. The timing doesn't like you lapping cars.
There's some funky timing issue with the circuit. I think we had a similar problem during last season too. So. Hodgson stays out, still maintains second position for now, ahead of Marcus Steyn. Chris Langeveld in fourth. Oh, yeah, slightly closing the gap to Steyn. Could have taken 2 seconds out of him. And Sparks in 16th position. Chris Heineck up into 4th position. I suspect he also needs to do a pit stop still. Brent Lindsay in 6th position. Chris Brown up into 7th.
Very solid 7th position.
Yeah, he's got Wesley Ferrand for company.
Chris Brown actually showing you the value of a very, very consistent drive. Because he, of course, didn't qualify in 7th position.
Yeah.
Consistency is king, Mr. Prudential. Waiting patiently for Nick Hodgins to pit. Marcus Steyn now wondering, did I miss a trick somewhere? There's 6 laps remaining and Nick's still in front of me. What's happening?
He's wondering exactly what we were wondering. Like, has he done his pit stop?
Does he know he's supposed to stop?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm sure Nick does. I'm sure there's quite a Nick strategy.
Imagine with 2 laps to go, he still hasn't stopped. Marcus must be out of his mind with worry at that point. Did I miss something?
But a challenge here on Chris Brown by Wesley Ferrand. These two been battling for a while now. Nice developing battle. And Brown's got a fantastic run down the main straight. Wide line, looking to cut in down the hill we go.
Now watch for the door. Watch for the door being shut. There you go.
Oh, he's run wide. A bit too late on the brakes there.
Come on, Chris. Mr. Sorrel van der Merwe.
Oh, good drive here by front. Shirley's going to have a go into the following left-hander, side by side. Brown holds his line, going to cut across.
That is the
worst
place.
Brown had to take some avoiding action.
That is the worst place to mount a challenge, seriously. Because
Brown
you have to carry so much speed in there. You need to be almost convinced of the fact that the guy on the outside is about to leave the track for that move to stick.
So nice to see the guys respecting track limits as well. They're being a bit liberal at the start of the race, but they've calmed down nicely. And if they're caught 10 times cutting the lines, they will be penalized. So everybody keeping themselves in check with regard to that. Nick Hodgson still hasn't done his pit stop. Need to go as long as possible. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him in only like lap 35 or so.
Nick made... Oh, Nick's in the pits.
Yeah.
Nick's in the pits.
Marcus Steyn will breathe a sigh of relief as he flies past back into second position. Nick Hodgson also with a stop and go, and I think he's actually going to gain a net position here on Chris Langeveld.
Oh, it's going to be so tight. Oh, it's going to be so tight. Oh, my word.
The fantastic
Look at this.
Strategic player by Dodge and Gut Racing, and of course Nick Hodgson. He has moved up a position and is now fighting for a podium position. He's got the podium position. Chris Langeveld has to take it away from him.
This is going to be one of the few battles worth watching towards the end of this race. 4 laps to go, 0.8 of a second between third and fourth.
Yeah, so clearly the strategy to go for here at Brands Hatch is to go as long as possible. And yeah, you use the overcut. And that is exactly what Nick Hodgson has done. I think Chris Langeveld came in like, what, 8 laps ago? 8-9 laps? And that's all that Nick Hodgson needed to move up a position and take him.
Oh, my word. Was there a rabbit on that apex that was worth taking out?
Let's just say there was a rabbit.
Yeah, there was a rabbit. His ears are gone now. Apex! What apex? I'll make my own apex. 0.3 of a second.
He wants to get that third position back as soon as he can. He's not liking this at all. His heart would have sank when he saw Nick Hodgson rejoining in front of him. So, no, that's my podium.
Kudos to him for not attempting a massive lunge when he saw that car come out of the pits, just slotting in behind it. But he definitely wouldn't have expected that prior to him coming down the start finish. This is now going to come down to who can hold their nerve the best. Oh my word!
Only slightly wide, a good drive by Langeveld. Of course, during that pit stop, Nick Hodgson's tyre pressures would have gone down. And here comes the move by Langefeld, surely. He's got him up the inside. Wow.
That was fantastic overtaking. But look, I sort of expected Christopher to actually do this because I had a premonition. Not that kind of premonition. I thought back to the actual pit stop, and Christopher was in the pits for a little bit longer than expected. I'm almost convinced he had to put fuel in to make it to the end of the race, so he would be lighter. If he changed tires, that's what would have kept him in the pits for a little bit longer than expected. So his car overall might have been in a much better position than Nick's. Because if I remember correctly, Nick just went in for a stop and go. So his tires are quite old.
A great move there by Chris Langefeld. He saw that Nick made an error there and knew he would be sort of slowed down. And Langefeld took his opportunity and made it move. And I think Nick also saw him coming and just sort of made a bit of extra room too.
Nick will not be a happy camper.
You can see him throwing that yellow BMW around.
I'm glad to see Chase Gunther back on the service, though. He's dead last, but he's racing. That shows character. For a guy capable of being a multiple race winner, to not throw in the towel like that and just get back on the server and do his business, it says a lot about the guy's character.
Yeah, and it would point you as to why he's so quick as well. Never say die attitude. Keep pushing as much as you can. You never know what can happen. Dodge and Gert, of course, winning the South African Sim GT Series Teams Championship last season with a fantastic performance by him and Nick Hodgson. We expect more of the same in this new season. Of course, if you're watching this and you'd like to get involved in the new season, the 2017.2 season, we've got currently 46 entrants. And if you would like to help to make it 3 splits, up to around 60 entrants before round 2, you can have a look at our website at www.simracesa.co.za. Have a look at the Getting Started 2017.2 page and have a read and submit a sign up form.
There seems to be a big battle down there in 13th, 14th, Matthew Boy and Wayne Wortley.
Let's go find them.
Oh, Wayne lost a bit of time there on Matthew Boy now.
Now leader Bashir Jadwat is in the last lap of this race.
How fantastic is that? 3 different splits on this board, less than a second, after all this racing, and Nick Hodgson is mounting a challenge on Chris Langefeld.
Yeah, he's decided now's the time to do it on the last lap. He's going to try and pressurize Chris Langefeld into an error. Oh, look up the inside.
Oh my word!
Will Chris Langefeld run wide? No, he won't. But,
that was brave.
I think Nick Hodgson's got a good drive onto the back straight. No, I think this is going to be Langefeld. At least he makes a mistake. But Bashir Jadwat, he's got the final 2 corners remaining. And he will take victory here of round 1 of the South African simM2 series. Convincing victory. Domination is the right word, I think.
Holden did this.
Marcus Steyn will get a solid second place finish. Great drive by him. And these two are not quite finished.
Wait for it.
On board with Nick
Wait
Hodgson. He's going to
for
try
it.
and force him into an error into the final corner, I think.
Come from wide. Come from wide. Dive in on the inside. Wait
Try
for
and give it
that
a lift.
drive. Go,
No.
go, 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 go.
And third position will go to Chris Langefeld.
Oh, what a dice.
Fourth position, Nick Hodgson. Solid drive by those two guys. Fantastic. Congrats to you.
I'm telling you now, there's going to be
Chris
a lot
Heineke
of
with a
guys.
very strong fifth position. I expect this man to be on fire this season. I think this is going to be Chris Heineke's season.
He's shown a lot of
Sparks
promise
in
over the last
16th.
few seasons.
Yeah, ever improving. Brett Lindsay will get sixth position. Wesley Ferrand seventh. Followed closely behind by Chris Brown up into eighth position. And you can consider where Chris Brown started. I think he was like in 15th or something. So to finish in eighth position is a fantastic result for Chris Brown. Pace Quinter will limp home in 18th position. So I'm not quite sure what happened to him. I think something's happening with his line. Zine Ismail in 9th. Zine Edwards will complete the top 10. Solid result for him. 11th, Tim Smith. 12th was a huge fight here. 3 tall going into the final corner here.
Exactly. You can throw a blanket over them.
Mark McGeer in 12th. Matthew Boy will get 13th. 14th, Wayne Wortley. And our final simGD qualifier will be Peter Geldenets. So he's on the bubble, but he's made it. But he does do a pit stop now. I think that's the end of the session. Well, Gert, I thoroughly enjoyed that race. Very close racing, but a dominant victory by Bashir Jadwat.
Absolutely. That was what, 7.5 seconds? That's pretty decent. That's a big outing. Then that big gap between Marcus and Christopher Langeveld, about 15 seconds, 15.5 seconds. Things were quite close between them up until about the halfway mark, and that's when strategy kicked in, the pit stop strategy, and where Marcus started pulling away from Christopher Langeveld. Nick Hodgson almost got himself a podium out of this with his strategy. Quite a pity how he lost his third position with about 3 laps to go. That would have hurt him psychologically, maybe. I don't know. But ultimately, a fantastic race by everyone here today. Some of the best racing I've seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I was very impressed with the driving standards, how everyone conducted themselves. Hardly any incidents for considering how close they were in qualifying and throughout the race. And yeah, congratulations to Ghostworks Racing, Bashir Jadwat and Marcus Stan for their 1-2 victory. It sends a big statement to everybody else for the rest of the season.
I mean, look at
Chris
that.
Langeveld.
Drivers on the lead lap.
Absolutely. Chris Langeveld, he gets his podium on debut in a Pro Series qualifier race. So congrats to him as well. Nick Hodgson had a go, Chris Langeveld, and Chris was able to come back at him. So that was a fantastic fight to watch. And I think a rivalry that will continue throughout the season. And we look forward to seeing those guys at the front. Chris Heineke, again, I said, is looking very strong. And I think you'll be right up there this season. Brenton Zure in 6th position, solid result for him. His teammate Wesley Front in 7th. Chris Brown in 8th position, good result, good comeback for him. Zine Ismail also on debut in 9th position. And Nazim Edwards completes the top 10.
Fantastic racing. Like I said, 14 guys on the lead lap. 14 after an hour's racing. Do not underestimate that performance if you were simply just watching this race. 14 guys on the lead lap. That's the kind of racing we can expect from a car like this with drivers like this. This is going to be a fantastic season. Fantastic series to watch.
Yeah, as you said, I think this race has set the tone for the rest of the season. And I think everybody would have had a look at the Ghostworks strategy there, that stop and go without taking tires or fuel and just keep, so Nick Hodgson did the same. I think Chris Langeveld might have taken a bit of fuel or even changed tires. I'm not quite sure to see what he did there later in the replay. But yeah, as I said, this sets the tone for the rest of the season. And I look forward to the rest of the season. I think it's going to be fantastic. And yeah, so the top 15 go through to the South African simGD series. And we're going to have a top 5 shootout, the last chance qualifier hot lap session on Thursday and Friday evening to determine who gets the last 5 grid slots for that split. And yeah. That's yeah. Well, I think that concludes round 1 here of the South African simM2 series at Brands Hatch. Thank you very much for joining me, Gert. It was a pleasure.
Always nice to be here.
And until next week, Monday, when we stream again the South African SimGD series, the top split of our flagship championship, we'll see you back here on Facebook Live and YouTube. Until then, cheers for now, everyone.
Bye-bye.